What's up, you guys? Welcome to an outlet with yours truly, with Zethu, and I'm back. I'm back with my journal, but surprisingly, there is nothing in this journal, and we are going to freestyle. So I'm here with the beautiful Gaopalelwe, and she's not saying anything
because I don't know. Like at this point, I'm waiting for you to get finished. Like that. Hi, how are you? I'm very awkward socially and otherwise, but yeah, quirky actually. I take that back. I'm very quirky.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the first episode of Mental Health Talks with me, with Zethu, and we're going to be talking about navigating mental health in relationships, whether it be platonic, romantic, you name it. Actually, no, we're going to be focusing on platonic and romantic, and we're not going to be touching on family because, anyways,
it's a tricky subject.
Anyway, let's get into it, man. So, triggers. What do you think are your triggers in platonic relationships when it comes to mental health? Things that make you go, I need my space. I can't do this. I need some alone time.
Generally, I think there just comes a point where I'm like, I genuinely just want my space. Because I don't know if it's like a thing, but like my body just gets into this mode of like, I'm done, I'm depleted, I can't do this anymore.
Get that.
Yeah, so I just want to be by myself, and I don't even want to give any little piece of me anymore because there's nothing left to give. So I can't necessarily, but then I guess my triggers would then be, if I have to really think about it, once I've like, for example, if you're like visiting me, right, it has to be less than, I think, after day 3. After day 3, it's over. Like, it's game over. I want you gone. Please go
We're
to
done.
wherever you come from. Like, pack your bags. Goodbye. That's where I'm just like, I think it's not that I don't like you anymore or you've done something wrong or anything. No, it's just that like emotionally I'm done. I can't necessarily like pretend like everything is okay anymore. I can't put a smile on my face. So every day putting a smile on my face just to make sure that my guest is okay.
I feel like that's the thing when you're speaking about someone visiting you for a certain amount of time. I feel like even when they're there, now you have to
pretend and
the whole time you need to be. Sometimes I just want to be quiet, and I want to be quiet with you in my space. I didn't really understand. I couldn't, if like we're sitting like this right now.
Yeah.
I would not be able to keep quiet. Because the moment we're quiet, I would feel like maybe
It's
you're mad
awkward.
at me.
Yeah, it's getting awkward. Like, what is this person thinking? You immediately start thinking about what that person's brain is doing. Like, what is it like? How's it communicating with them? Are they mad at me? Stop creating these little stupid scenarios that aren't even like real.
Another thing.
And the other thing is lying. Lying is my number one ick, pet peeve, trigger, the whole shebang. Don't lie to me. You lie to me, I literally walk the hell away from you. Might as well, I equate it as one of the biggest sins ever. Maybe that's why it's in the 10 Commandments. Don't lie. It is.
Oh,
right?
I think so.
It is,
I think so, yeah.
Guys, embarrassment. Anyway, only because, okay, lying to me kind of makes me feel, I start to judge me. I start to criticize me before I even criticize, like, you for lying to me. I ask myself, what have I done wrong? Like,
You said I should stop looking up there, and I keep doing this.
What? You're a problem. You see, you're a problem. Anyway, I said I get to the point where I start questioning myself, like, why? What is wrong with me that I didn't give you enough to trust me in order for you to tell me the truth, to open up to me, things like that. That's where I start. And then I'm like, what is wrong with me? Yeah. So what are your triggers?
So, no, but before that, yeah. So basically, with regards to your mental health, when you say, okay, lying, so basically pushes you into a spiral.
It does. It makes me spiral, and then that spiral then turns into depression. Because then all my life, like I don't think I'll ever remember a time when I wasn't criticizing myself. I wasn't like picking at all the things that are wrong about me. Like, yeah.
For me, lying just makes me overthink.
Yeah.
Because if you can lie about the smallest things, what about the big ones that you're probably hiding?
Even the moment you find out that person's lied to you, you start criticizing your whole entire relationship beforehand. When you're like wondering, did they lie to me about this and this and this? Did they lie to me about like when we were out last time? When they said 1, 2, 3, was it a lie or was it the truth?
And also, in relationships, when you lie to me, and I catch you lying, and you continue lying to me,
all hell breaks loose.
For me,
I'm out, honestly.
My triggers, platonically or even romantically, I think. One, when you put so much pressure on me to explain to you what's going on, to tell you what's going on, to try to, what is this? Give you a look into my feelings, and I do that, and then you don't listen to me. That is definitely a trigger for me, because like it makes me feel like you're not taking me seriously. One, it makes me feel like you're not interested, you don't care. Excuse me.
Because it's like, why were you at me the whole time, but here I am expressing how I feel, only for you to be literally taking it like half-heartedly, you know?
Especially during a time where you're supposed to be extending grace to me, and instead I'm the one extending grace to you. But even when I'm extending grace to you, you're not taking in that grace. You're not taking that grace seriously. You get me? So for me, that's one thing. And then another thing is when people are not supportive of the choices that I make to protect me and my mental health. And especially with regards to, let's say, taking a social media break, you disappear for so long that when you come back, you remember everything that you've missed, or you find out about everything
that you missed,
that you missed, and now there's the guilt that comes in. You get me? I don't think people understand.
But then also, it's not even like, sometimes like that guilt, it's self-inflicted, but then also sometimes it's also external, like people are throwing that guilt at you.
Exactly.
Because it's like, you're the one that chose to disappear. This is all the things that you missed out on. Why the hell should I literally like extend grace to you by explaining to you what it is that you've missed out on, and so forth and so on? And then it's like, but you know why I was taking a social media break. You know the place that I was in. I didn't tell, like I told you, I was honest with you from the beginning. Like, this is why I'm doing it.
And also, people make you feel like you're being selfish. I am being selfish, because me being selfish is the only way that I can take care of myself fully.
Yeah.
It make you feel selfish. Oh, you don't care about me. You don't do this. You don't do that. Guys, you guys don't understand. Oh no, let me say, you are understanding until the actual signs of mental illness start showing up.
Yeah.
When I actually start acting cuckoo, that's when you're like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. That's when
they're ready to back away.
Oh, that's when you're like, oh no, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want this. This is you being selfish. This and this. People need to understand that. I feel like mental health is something that is almost cancerous in a sense. You need to take care of someone with mental health issues the same way you would take care of someone who has a physical illness
as well. Yeah.
And I think people don't understand that. Oh, you're always talking about mental health. You're always doing this. You're always saying we trigger you. How do we trigger you? Blah 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 blah. How do you trigger someone that has a headache? By making a noise. So now when I tell you how you trigger my illness, it's a
oh no, but you know, then somehow they gaslight you into like that whole thing where like, no, but it's not my fault, it's yours, because you're the one that catches feelings too quickly. Like, why is like a chest day? Like,
and also another thing with regards to what is this triggers. The world, I get to the baby time. I don't want to say they're ableist, because when I say ableist, we're talking with regards to, I think, disabled people. You get me?
Yeah.
But the world doesn't cater to mental health. You cannot take days off because you're not okay mentally. You cannot not go to a wedding just because you're not okay mentally. Then they can extend grace to you
because they can actually see what is wrong with you. But the thing is, mental health is that you can't see it unless you are living with that person, because the moment they become depressed, sometimes it's like they can barely like shower, they can barely get out of bed, they can barely eat, they can barely do like normal routine things that are usually done, like clean up their room, do this, do that. Sometimes even like, because I've seen like social media like stuff, videos on TikTok or whatever, like sometimes depression can look like cleaning up after yourself. It can be you washing the dishes. It can be do that. You can still do all of those things, but then that's somebody who's high functioning. Because for me, that's I'm a high functioning person when it comes to my mental health issues. Because it's like I live in a household where I can't just choose not to clean up after myself. I can't do this because my parents don't understand. Like when I'm depressed, like I just want to do nothing. I want to disappear. No, I have to still contribute to the society. I still have to like do my part. I still have to like cook for this. You know, I still have to like wash the dishes, because if I do not wash the dishes, I'm gonna get an earful of that, and that only pumps more into my depression, because it's like, oh, you know, you're supposed to like I hear the voices in my head that are like explaining how unworthy I am, because I'm forgetting small stupid little tasks, and then it's like the mindfuck that happens. It's absolutely insane.
And also that's where we said we're not going to speak about this, but that's where navigating mental health in regards to family comes in. It is difficult to navigate your mental health when it comes to your family, especially when your family is black. I said what I said.
Or like people of color, because as well, it's not like my daughter also just black.
Let me say brown.
Yeah.
You know, when you're brown, like I said what I said, because to them, because to them, to your family who doesn't understand how broad mental health is, how many mental health illnesses there are out there. Bona, depression is crying all the time. Depression is being sad all the time. Depression is how we drink. When you are high functioning, like Gaopalelwe said, they don't see that as depression. So what's your problem?
So what's going on? What could you be depressed about?
Why are you sad?
You have a roof over your head. You have I buy you things. I do this too. But do I not do enough for you? It's like, this isn't about you though.
So how do you navigate that? How do you come to terms with that? How do you try to make peace or live in a space that is like that? You get me? So in terms of platonic relationships or friends, how then do you explain to the people who don't see you all the time, who don't see you crash, who don't, or let me say, who you don't allow to see you crash? How do you then show them?
Is this in regards to like communicating? Okay.
Not triggers.
Yeah,
we're saying we're moving to communication now. How do you then show them ukuthi hayi cha, this is what's happening, this is what my depression or this is what my bipolar looks like. Wabona jwale. How do you communicate that to them, especially when you are not a vulnerable person, especially when you are not good at talking, like me?
It's simple. It's very, very simple. I don't.
You're so toxic. What the hell? You're so toxic.
It's the most simplest answer ever. I don't communicate any of those things to anybody. Even with like my friend, she and I, we have like very similar diagnoses. There was a point in my life with my friend. She was the one leaning on me. She needed my support, and I could give it 100%. I'm all for just being there for my friends. I love being there for my friends. But when the roles were reversed, and I was going through it, because there was a period in my life where I stopped taking my medication, and that was the worst time of my life. I can just, especially when you know what it's like to be on your medication, the freedom it gives you, from the break that you get from your head, the noise, the suicidal ideation,
because you can't positively think yourself into
a happy place. You just can't do that.
You can't.
I need the help of my medication.
You can't positively think yourself into breaking or making these chemical imbalances in your brain better.
Yeah, you can't do that. So I know I need the help, and I'm okay with that. So once I was not on my medication and there was a period there, then I was trying to lean on her. That was hard. It was really difficult, because I thought because we had such similar diagnoses, it would be easier for me to like offload onto her, but it wasn't, because then the way she got it, started becoming more of a misunderstanding, and then I got frustrated, and then it was like,
I get that.
It was like, why are you not hearing me for me, But I also understood where she was coming from. She was coming from a good place of like, I see that you're going through this, but let's find solutions how you can get better, how you do this. I think it also boils down to the fact that like she was trying to find places where she was trying to be giving solutions.
They're always trying to fix.
Yeah. And I also realized, but then also her doing that kind of also made me also realize that I'm also a fixer. I tend to, that's why I'm starting to like get into the process of just listening. I'm telling myself, just listen. I cannot be, she lives in Pretoria, for goodness sake. How am I going to be able to fix what she's in Pretoria? But somehow I made it work that I was fixing while she needed. I was fixing. I don't know how I was doing it.
But that's the thing. I'm sorry to cut you off. But that's the thing. As a friend, or even as a partner, you need to see the different phases that they're in. There is going to be a phase where I vent to you and I want solutions and I want you to try to let's fix this. Let's try. I want to get better. But there's going to be a time where I vent to you and I don't want
anything.
And full motivations and funny motivation.
I just
don't
hear me.
Exactly.
Because then ultimately it's like, I think that's where, because I started getting, because I don't think she was hearing what I needed her to hear from me. Maybe because I wasn't explaining it the way I wanted to explain it, because I struggled to explain it. That's why I tell you I don't explain it. Because so I decided, no, let me start explaining it, because then I'm gonna die in my own head if I don't try and explain it.
Because that comes into play as well. Wanting to communicate with you, like this thing that I'm feeling to you, I don't know how to communicate it, and even when I do communicate it, you still don't understand it.
Because it's like, is it me? Am I the one not communicating it properly? So that ended up resulting some sort of like, there was like wasn't resentment, but there was like there was a negative feeling, and I hated having that negative feeling towards somebody who means so much to me. Like she literally means the world and so much more, because like me and that girl, we've been through the most, and we've been by each other's sides and everything. So me having this disconnect with her at that time, it was like, what am I doing wrong? So then I pulled back. I completely did. Where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then at that point, I feel like I was ready to just give up on this relationship, which was really messy. It was sad. It was messy. It was completely. It unnecessary, but that's where we were.
That's what mental health is.
It takes away from you. It really does, because it's like it takes away your voice. It takes away your mind. It takes away your ability to just reach out. It really does. And people don't understand that. They only just half-heartedly think, oh no, it's this small little, it's literally like, I don't know how to describe. It's like a boulder. You know, like that, those boulders that roll down that mountain. It's rolling down the mountain. It's that boulder that sits here on your...
Exactly, I was about to say that.
Right behind you now.
Oh my gosh.
And
you can't run away from it.
You cannot.
You can't
and
get away
from it. And the thing is, you know what's the messed part about it? You sleep with it, you wake up with it, because half the time is you barely are able to sleep. You're barely able to sleep throughout the night because you are tormented by this boulder and the pain that you're going through. You're barely making it through the day because you're tired because you didn't make it through the night. And then still you have to deal with other people and everything. And then after that, it's like you have to deal with nonsense. Nonsense.
Bro, mental health is like, I'm here to you. I'm here to you every morning. Dakabawo. La-di-da. I'm waking you up. Rise and shine. Eggs and bacon made scat. I can't.
So
I can't.
Communication.
So basically,
I have bad communication when it comes to my mental health. Absolutely, tremendously horrible.
I think I used to be bad, but I'm getting better.
Yeah,
I'm getting better because I'm in a place where I'm very intentional.
Okay.
I'm intentional with my friendships. I'm intentional. Oh, there's no relationship. But yeah,
if there was one.
I'm also like intentional when it comes to relationships.
Were you intentional with your last one?
Oh yes. Triggered. Wait. I can say.
That's what I can say. Not bad.
Oh my gosh.
You there?
Oh my gosh. Once again,
quick
I was very intentional. Like I said, I've gotten to a place where I'm very intentional. And also, I think for me, when it comes to communication, it also goes hand in hand with boundaries. And the reason why I say that is I think you know how messy my boundaries used to be and how easily I used to get triggered. Guys, I had very sloppy boundaries. They still sloppy-ish, but they straightening up. I realized that even from high school that I've always had sloppy boundaries. So when it comes to communication, you need to be firm or stern. And this is how I feel. This is what I want. This is what I've taken from this conversation. This is what I'm offering you. So I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. Even with, I think my communication with my best friend is also getting better. Because there was a point in our friendship where I really, really felt like every time I spoke to this girl, and with regards with what you are saying about you and your friendship, that's basically like what I felt was happening. She would try so hard to help and to listen and to understand, but she wasn't understanding the way I wanted her to understand. I wanted her, like I could give her, or she could give me her hand and I could put it over my heart and be like, feel, this is what I'm feeling. Or this is, but now, this is what's happening. I don't like this. This is what I want. This. So for me, that's why I'm very intentional now. Wow. I'm gonna make an example. Something happened between me and someone else, and then I told my best friend what had happened, and then she sent me a voice note, but her voice note was completely off from what I was saying, and then I was mad. I was very, very upset. But then I was like, what's again? No, let me fix this. And then I sent her a voice note and said, what's again? I don't like the fact that you took this way, because this is how I feel about this. And I feel like you didn't hear me. And I feel like you didn't extend grace to me. And then that's when she was like, oh, okay. So then this and this and this and this and this. So you don't have to be upset all the time. Just communicate all the time. Communicate all the time. Because also, what I learned from last year, not only with my past relationship, but also from last year, is that the same effort that I give in my relationship, the same research that I was doing in my past relationship, I need to also do this in my friendships if I want to have a long lasting friendships. You get me? Yeah. So that's how I feel.
To be honest, right? Communicating within my romantic relationships, I've only ever had one romantic relationship, right?
I'm gonna cut that out.
No, but then it adds to the story.
Okay.
It's fine. You can put it out there. It's not a biggie.
Okay.
I've had one romantic relationship, right? And then I've had a 7-year situationship.
Okay. Okay. I didn't say nothing.
It's 7 years. No. This one wasn't. It was constantly on and off, but we never really physically agreed that we were dating each other. So as I was saying, my communication skills in romantic relationships hasn't been put to the test quite yet, right? Based on the previous relationship that I was in, I feel like I tried really hard to communicate well. It's just that things just ended up, we misunderstood each other because he wasn't as he wasn't as forthcoming with his feelings as I needed him to be. He explained how he was feeling, but at the same time I failed to understand him, really understand where he was coming from.
So how did that trigger your mental health?
You know what? No, you know what? I want to say it did not trigger my mental health, only because I did the worst thing I could possibly do. When we broke up, I completely went into this in denial phase. I just thought, I just thought if he gets his head right, he'll know that I cared about him, and he'll know that I still care about him, and then he can come back to me.
See, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
That is the delulu land I was living in for almost a year. That is the idea that I had the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
For almost a year. I literally kept singing, no, once he gets his head screwed on right and he sees that this girl's been riding for me, waiting for me. Waiting for me.
Oh,
that's what I've been dealing with. So my communication skills have not been put to the test yet. So eventually, when they are, I hope I'm better at it, because within my friendship relationships, it's bad. So maybe if I can help pull that up a bit, then my relationships won't suffer. But I am trying. I really am trying to learn to communicate. Sorry. So yeah.
Also what you just said. For me, I feel like I cannot afford to be delusional, because whenever I am delusional, so it's better I live in the reality.
Yeah.
So okay, in terms of intimacy, right? And not intimacy as in sex or whatever, how do you think mental health triggers or affects intimacy in terms of platonic relationships? For me, I think it's I can't spend my love languages per se. I think for me it's quality time, acts of service, and I don't know what else.
Words of affirmation.
Okay. Yeah, words of affirmation. When your friends know you. Okay, but yeah, I feel like in terms of physical touch and quality time, you know, anything that needs us to be there for each other, to spend time together, I can't do it for long periods of time or repeatedly. I need it every once in a while, and with that it affects me in terms of you know when you feel like you're lacking something, but at the same time you can't get it or you don't go after it because it's going to hurt you. Wobble. So that's how I feel like my mental health affects intimacy in my platonic relationships. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I hear you. Well, for me, I guess if I were to look at my own love languages, I don't know, it's like, okay, mine was acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time. Yeah, those are like the top 3. Then the other 2 is like gift and whatnot, which is really not a thing for me. But like acts of service for me is important because I'm a firstborn child. If you can just take away some of my responsibilities, I'll be grateful.
That would be great.
I'll be grateful, super grateful for that. You know. Anyway, but that's not the point. We're missing the point. Okay, so with my platonic relationships, it's one of those things where I, believe it or not, I kind of also want to be reaffirmed within the thing. I want emotional understanding. I want us to talk, but for you to hear me. I don't know. I want to be heard, but at the same time, I make it difficult to be heard because I don't communicate. So that's the way it affects me. Like I fall short on the communication part but I also there's a desire to be heard, but then I fall short with being able to communicate. So how can I be heard when I don't communicate?
So your communication and intimacy are linked
together. Yeah. So, but then you also talk about something. No, that's more. Sorry, I'm now thinking about romantic relationships. Okay, for that one, it's more of like you were talking about pressure, about how they don't support you and your choices and things like that. For me, it was a pressure of, as much as intimacy is more than just a sexual thing. Unfortunately for me, the way I've seen it is like a lot of people just view intimacy as sexual and nothing else, and nothing else. So a lot of the times is when I'm like with my romantic endeavors, where you know, getting to know somebody, because I have been in stages and talking stages, a lot of talking stages, and in those talking stages, people have made it very apparent that sex is one of the biggest things for them, and it's not for me, right? It's genuinely not for me. So then they pressure you. You see, for me, it's that pressure. That pressure is the one that gets me, and it affects me because then I'm asexual. I identify as asexual. Asexuality, I'm asexual. So basically, in layman terms, it just means that sex is not my number one priority. Like, I don't get how you would get physically attracted. You look at somebody and you get physically attracted to them and it leads to a sexual encounter. For me, it doesn't work that way. I literally look at somebody and I see, oh my gosh, they're hot, but I don't associate it with sex. I don't associate it with anything. For me, it's like I have to be emotionally and mentally connected to you in such a way where I can feel, and you know, I'm like, you really get me. And when I'm there, then maybe we can start, you know, I can start being free enough to entertain you in a sexual manner. But then they want to rush me. Why are you rushing me? They want to rush me and then they want to get into the sex already, and I'm just like, why?
Do you think your mental health is connected to you being or identifying as asexual? Anyways.
Yeah, I want to check on that. This is really sending. I want to go check on that.
That's it for today, folks. Nope. Miss Ma'am didn't answer the question, but moving on. I think with me, in terms of intimacy, if we're talking king, in terms of king,
platonic. We're gonna go romantic.
Sexual relations. Sexual relations. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. Sometimes you just tired, and not only in sex, like kissing and all of that. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. You just don't want to. Sometimes I don't want you to touch me because I'm overstimulated. There are too many things that are touching me. There is sweat, there is everything, and now you want to be in my space. And when you have mental health issues, you spend a lot of time in your head. And while I'm in my head, I don't want anyone coming to me with all of those sexual dons. You get me?
Yeah.
So with me, I think that's what it is.
So okay, but then in terms of, for you, so you're okay with like engaging in sexual. I was gonna say sexual misconduct.
That's how much you hate it.
It's not for me. But I realized that I actually watched this other video on Insta, and this she's a sex therapist, and that for me finding her was like, I think it was God. He done set me aside, because there was one video where she talks about giving pleasure and receiving pleasure. And half the time that it is okay to be the one to just want to give pleasure. I don't have to be on the receiving end of it. And for me, I find relief in that, because I don't. Why are you giving me pleasure? Why? Why must I receive pleasure for what? What's it gonna do for me? What is it gonna do for me?
I just want to say I am not part of whatever it is that she's talking about.
Sorry, ma'am. You don't need to not. You do not subscribe to what I'm subscribing to.
I do not.
No, but seriously.
That channel is not for me. Hey, Baton, it's not for me.
No, but I genuinely like it. The thing is, you know what? I hope one day I get to meet a lot of people who are in my shoes. No, and the thing is, I don't want it to be international people. I want it to be South Africans, Black South Africans.
I think there are a lot
and
actually.
Say, I do not like to receive pleasure. And my boy chest, they must speak it from the heart.
Are you guys listening? All my gays.
Speak from the heart.
Start those
and
podcasts.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
YouTube channels.
It doesn't matter, because the thing is, for me, it's like girls, guys, you name it, whatever you come as, however you present as, tell me that I do not like to receive pleasure, because I think there is so much to be said about that, because we constantly live in such a sexual world that everything just revolves around it. You have to have your ass out, boobs out.
I think this needs to be in one of my YouTube videos, actually. We are tired of sex. Everything's sex all the time.
All the time. I'm over it.
No.
And the thing is, you know what? To overcompensate for the fact that I never liked having sex or whatever, I had to talk about sex all the time. I was a master at being able to maneuver sex in any conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Any conversation. We would be talking about someone's shoes. Someone's shoes. You could talk about someone's shoes. I'll be asking you, how long is your foot? Like, shoes, what's your shoe size? And then we immediately, because you know that, so the foot is the same size as the. Dude, let me see your hands. Do this. I can fit anything. I used to be able to fit any conversation we were having into something sexual. Always. That was my superpower. And then I grew the fuck up. And I admitted to myself, I don't like doing this, because it implies the wrong message to the other party. Because it's like, oh, she likes talking about it? That means she likes to do it.
That means she likes to do it.
Yeah. That's where I started choosing myself in the first. So eventually I stopped, because I can't keep doing that. Because now I feel guilty, because I feel like I'm leading them on, and then they don't get what it is that they came for, and then it's like, but this bitch. And I'm just like, nah, B, that was not what I was trying to do. I'm trying to hide.
We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
So yeah, that's me.
So, in terms of working on or navigating mental health with your partner or with your friends, how do you think we should try to do that?
No, seriously, but be honest. I feel like sometimes I'm talking a lot of crap here, because sometimes I also fail to communicate as well. I'm still learning, but be honest. And Also, be honest with somebody who you know is not going to judge you.
Be intentional.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of the times I'm surrounded by people who are going to judge me. So I just keep quiet and I hide away, and that's not fair to me or to them, because it's like I need to be honest with you and tell you this is where I'm at, and I'm suffering. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. Whatever it is that you're feeling, try and explain it, because maybe they might meet you halfway in understanding what you're trying to go through, and maybe they might be there just to help you and hold your hand and be the pillar that you need somebody. Like everybody, I think we pretend all you like, but as people we need each other. Pretend
all right, please.
all you like. As much as we love our social media breaks, our space, our this, a young cuddle once in a while, we need it. A young hug, screw cuddles then, a young hug, just to be felt and be held together. You can make that face all you want, baby. You know I'm spewing the truth, bruh.
I don't know about all that.
You know. Like every once in a while, just to be held. It's nice. So, seek comfort in the people that you trust. And the ones that are showing up for you. I think that's what we also forget. That yes, we have friends, a lot of them, but there are very few who will show up for you. Very few.
I think for me, I would also say communicate. Communicate better. Be intentional about communicating better. And also stop keeping people around just because you I can
feel guilty.
Well, you feel guilty, or you
owe them something.
You don't.
Yeah.
Let go of people. Let go of things or people that no longer serve you. Be intentional about the people that you want in your space. You must know what you want from your partner. You must know what you want from your friends. You must know how you want your friends to treat you. Also, get better at how you treat yourself as well, because how you treat yourself shows people how you want
to be treated. Yeah, it's a mind map of how you want to be treated.
Treat yourself like an egg, people treat you like an egg. Simple. Stop getting. Oh, another thing. Admit that you don't know.
True.
Mental health is something that is so. I think we've said this repeatedly. Said this in this video. It's complex. It's broad. No one, even the psychologists, bruh, they just using, what is this?
A guideline.
Guidelines, but nobody really knows.
Because people go through different experiences of certain things.
Exactly.
Like I said when I mentioned my best friend and I were diagnosed with the same things, but her experiences are so completely different from mine. Only because it's her upbringing, it's what she's been going through, and then it's also mine. So my story and her story, two different stories, but yet same diagnosis. Exactly. It really doesn't. It's like sometimes it's like, wow, we really are going through it, but then it's like we're going through it so differently, but we still manage to be there for one another. So yeah.
So that's the best way to navigate mental health. Admit you don't know. Don't try to compare how your bipolar manifests
differently. Yeah.
Wobble. And that's it for today's video. I think we recorded this like 4 times or something, but it's fine.
I love it's not recording. I really do.
But it's fine. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Please subscribe. Comment down below. And yeah, also follow me on my other social media platforms. Follow me on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok. Yeah. So I'm gonna be more intentional about my content creation this year. So please, I want to establish a community. I want to be gang with you guys. Thank you so much for staying with me.
Thank you.
Bye.